He is a wonderful guitarist, saxophonist, singer-songwriter, Mr. Eddie Money. Eddie, how you doing, buddy?
Good. You got a lot of great show. I got a lot of my friends listen to your show all the time. I want to give everybody a shout-out. Thanks for having me on the air.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for promoting my show. I appreciate it. Now, Eddie, I heard that your father and grandfather were New York City policemen, and you followed in their footsteps early on in your life, correct?
I went on the police department. My brother was in Vietnam at the time, and I just, I thought it would be a good idea to help people out, but I couldn't really see myself in a uniform with short hair for like 20, 25 years of my life. I was looking at my old man who was kind of grumpy at the time, and I said, this isn't for me. So I moved out to California, and actually I moved to Los Angeles first, and then I actually settled up in Northern California. Now I'm back down here in L.A. We're married with 5 kids, loving the weather and the golf and all my friends out here, It's like Randy Newman says, I love L.A.
So, Eddie, I know you moved up to Berkeley, California, and who were you really digging musically once your love for music, intensified in your life?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, I was in a rock band in high school doing Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels and the Young Rascals and James Brown and Otis Redding. And, I've always had music running through my blood. And, I found out the best way to date the cheerleaders in high school was to, instead of being on the football team, which was a lot of work, just being a rock band in high school, So I was in the local rock band in my high school, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun growing up. And but I tell you, when my father and I started locking horns, I was growing my hair long, and even though I was on the police department, I wasn't that happy with things. So, I just kind of packed everything up, packed up my surfboard and my records, and moved out to California.
And, Eddie, how did you get signed to Columbia Records? How did that process happen?
Well, I was signed by the legendary Bill Graham, who was a concert promoter. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's like a rock and roll impresario, a very famous man, and he got me signed to Columbia Records, and I don't know, that was back in the late 70s, and God, we sold about 27 million records. I did Saturday Night Live, and back in the day I was doing Merv Griffin and Mike Douglas and The Tonight Show and Letterman, and, just a lot of TV, and I was on the road with the Rolling Stones and the Who and the Fleetwood Mac and the Steve Miller Band, April Wine, and, did a lot of great shows and made a lot of money, and, that was made a lot of money, spent it all, got in some trouble, got out of trouble, and here I am today,
I hear you, man. I hear you. And did you write the tune "Baby Hold On" while you were still a police officer? Is that how that story goes?
Yeah, I quit the police department and I moved out to California. I actually wrote 2 Tickets to Paradise first, and actually the radio stations didn't think wasn't commercial enough for AM radio in that time. AM radio was different than FM radio. AM radio was current hit rotation, like a KFRC used to be in San Francisco, KCAL in LA. But, Baby Hold On, I wrote after 2 Tickets because, 2 Tickets was like more, they considered it more college-oriented rock. So I came up with Baby Hold On, and then I came up with Maybe I'm a Fool. And I had a knack for writing, pop songs and college-orientated songs. So I was lucky at that aspect anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And is it true that you wrote the tune 2 Tickets to Paradise regarding a girlfriend that you were dating at the time?
Dated a girlfriend, and we were both going to UC Berkeley, and she'd go home on the weekends and spend a lot of time with her mom and dad. And his mother and father were trying to talking her out of dating me, since I was just a lonely kind of low-life musician. But I wrote the song 2 Tickets to Paradise about taking her on a bus ride up to the Redwood Forest up there in Northern California. It's, anybody in the world would want, 2 Tickets to Paradise would have to be Hawaii or Bermuda or, it could be 2 Tickets to Paradise could be anywhere, with somebody you're really very fond of,
How did you come across meeting songwriter Randy Oda for the great tune I Think I'm in Love?
Randy Oda was a Japanese friend of mine, and he wrote the song Think I'm in Love, and I helped him out with it. And actually, it introduced me to a whole drink market in Japan because Randy Oda, being Japanese, Think I'm in Love became a big hit over there. So I went over there with Santana. We played Budokan and Osaka and Tokyo and Nagasaki, and we got a lot of great friends over there. A lot of great fans in Japan and New Zealand, and Australia. We were very, very big in Europe. But there's nothing like playing in your own backyard. I really like playing in Southern California. Very partial to San Diego and L.A. and Riverside. I just love L.A. I just love Southern California. The weather's fantastic. The people are really cool. There's a lot of things to do. Bike riding, surfing. It's just a great place to be.
And was the tune "Take Me Home Tonight" based on the 1963 tune by the Ronettes called "Be My Baby"? How did you come up with the idea to use that kind of as a springboard for that tune?
The song was written by a couple of guys in England, and it was "Take Me Home Tonight," "I Don't Want to Let You Go to See the Light," and the "Be My Little Baby" was kind of like, there was like two choruses in one song. That's why I think the song was so successful. But I want to thank Ronnie Spector for doing a great video for me with that. Ronnie Spector, the legendary singer that did "Be My Little Baby" and "Baby I Love You," and she was very instrumental in making that song a big hit for me. And I called her up, asked her what she was doing, and she had gotten married, and she heard a bunch of clinking and clanking. She was actually doing the dishes, and she said she dropped that in the business, and she got married, had a couple of kids. But after she did the video, she got that rock and roll running back into her blood again, and she got out there. I run into her on the road every now and then. She's still out there doing shows. Matter of fact, I just saw her do a show in New York City about 2 weeks ago, and she was very sweet when she got on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of the first things she did was thank me. She's a sweetheart of a lady. What a nice gal. Of course, she was married to that maniac, Phil Spector, which is who's in jail for murder right now. But
yeah.
I was never a big fan of his anyway, to tell you the truth.
Then, Eddie, when you came back on the music scene in 1988, I always loved the tune "Walk on Water." And how did that song come about? I know keyboardist Jesse Harms wrote most of that tune.
Jesse Harms came up with "Walk on Water," and I thought he was a really good writer and a good buddy of mine, and I just liked that song a lot. And then Cher kind of stole it from us. She turned it into "If I Could Turn Back Time." I mean, that was a complete ripoff of "Walk on Water."
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that, but "Walk on Water" was a big hit, just like, "Take Me Home Tonight," or "I Want to Go Back," or "I Think I'm in Love," or "Shakin'," or we've had a lot of success. The guy upstairs, the big guy upstairs, has blessed me with a lot of great hits and a pretty good voice, and I'm a pretty good entertainer, and we put on a great show. As a matter of fact, I got a knock on wood because I got a couple of great shout-outs in Rolling Stone in the last couple of months, which is a pretty influential magazine, and the shows have been going really well, and we got a lot of friends down there in Corona. The phone's been ringing off the hook, and matter of fact, the promoter said to me down there, must be an older guy going, "Who's this guy, Eddie? What? He's got a bigger guest. He's got a bigger guest list than the Rolling Stones." But getting to be surrounded by a lot of friends of mine that have been friends of mine in Southern California for years, it's going to make I like old Homewood down there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Eddie, what are you currently working on these days?
Well, I got a Broadway show that actually did really well called the Eddie Money Story, called "Two Tickets to Paradise." I wrote some really fantastic Broadway type of tunes for the show, and we're resurrecting this show and doing that show. Probably we're trying to get it back on Broadway, and I've been working with some really some people with some money that are interested in helping me out. That really think that the script is great, and we're working on that. And of course, I've been watching my son and my daughter blossom. Their careers are really taking off. Jessica's been writing a lot of great new material, and I have another son named Desmond that's also a very good writer. I'm pleasantly surprised. And he's trying to help the kids out, get started in this business if they wanted to. I thought they'd be better off going to college and being a CPA or a lawyer or even a policeman, because it's really, the rock and roll business, the entertainment business is kind of tough, but you can't steer the kids away with something that they really love, and maybe they'll have success with it. I really hope so, because they really got that hope so.
I totally agree. My parents absolutely were in the same position with me, because my mom was a backup singer for Neil Sedaka and Elton John in the 70s.
Wow, that's fantastic, man. That's really great. You've been around the business a long time yourself then, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I have. I've been born into it, so to speak. And so I got all my musical taste from, my mom's side of the family. And then, both of my parents just said, go for it. And, I went for it. And here I am 15 years later talking to you.
Well, fantastic. Well, there's a lot of people don't realize how hard the DJs work, and sometimes they got to change their markets. I mean, I've seen DJs that have been really great DJs, and then they get uplifted and they get another job in like another county or another state.
Right.
And the kids are in school, and I got to drag the kids out of school. I mean, it can be a tough life for, but people that love to DJ and love music, it's the same business I'm in. You guys play music and I sing music. It's the same business. And my hat's off to you. You've got a really great show, and I only wish you continued success.
And Eddie, thank you so very much for all of your support through your website and through all of your fans. I really do appreciate it. And Eddie Money is going to be performing live at the Hard Rock Cafe in San Diego on June 13th. For more information, go to EddieMoney.com. Eddie Money, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Just tell everybody it's going to be a great show. Tell everybody, hey, I got two tickets but I'm taking everybody. Come down and do some shaking with the Money Man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it, buddy.
Okay, buddy. Take care.